What is going on, nerds? I have a quick update for you guys on the special Andrew MF Yang event this Saturday, January 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be with none other than Andrew MF Yang himself. It is a private donor-only event. You got to pay $100, but in exchange, you'll be part of a small group that can hear from Andrew himself. I will be there. I might be interviewing him as well. And then if we raise enough money at this event, we might be able to get Andrew to come on to the Nerds channel for a long-form public live stream in the future. I'm going to tell you all about it, and maybe if we can, I can give you guys some updates on what's going on with the mayoral race. Hello, Fred the Felon. What's up, my brother? How you doing? But first, why don't we warm it up with Andrew? Andrew, bring it.
There's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up. Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll.
Hello, nerds. Nerds for Humanity. I don't know. Maybe we should change it back to Nerds for Yang by now. But I got news. I got news for you. This Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be doing a special donor event for Andrew's mayoral campaign. And I just want to tell you all about it because I think it's going to be pretty cool. So if you go to this handy website, oopsie daisy, that's the old URL. Hold on. That URL still works. But if you go to yangangunited.com, you will see this bad boy here, which talks about Mr. Andrew Yang's campaign. And moreover, it talks about the event that myself and Henry Kim are putting on. We're hosting it. We're part of the organizing committee. And there's actually going to be a 15-minute meet and greet in the green room, and then a little bit of Q&A. If you donate $100, you can get an invitation to the event. You donate $1,000, you can ask Andrew a question yourself directly. But you can donate any amount you want. If you donate less than 100, that's fine. It still goes towards the campaign. And if we in total raise $15K, we can get Andrew back onto the Nerds channel. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. You see that here? Look, I'll show you. $100, you get an invite. If you do 1,000, you can ask him your question yourself. But even if you do smaller donations, it does go towards the Nerds for Humanity goal of getting 15K. And if we get 15K, we'll get him on the Nerds channel. And you know, I love having Andrew on the Nerds channel. I feel like he's a great guest, and I often have a lot of questions for him. That's me and Henry, the organizers, and we have a bunch of amazing MCs, and then these are some co-hosts who've already donated quite a bit to make this event happen. And let me just give a shout out to Kunal, the MC, James Huang, Victor Shin, Soyun Choi, Kevin So, Tom Trong, Jeffrey Finn, Michael Valdez, and Will Weinbach, all part of this event. You can find out more at yangangunited.com, and that will give you a little bit more information, and it'll give you a link to donate. I think, where would I go? Maybe here? Yeah, if I click on this bad boy. Yeah, it takes you to an Act Blue. And then you just put in any money amount you want. 100 or more, you go to the event. But if you just want to help Andrew and 100's a little steep, you can just put in any amount over here. And that will enable you to support the mayoral campaign. And moreover, it'll make it easier for us to get Andrew back on this channel. So yeah, see that? There, you can donate any amount you want down here. So some people were going there saying, hey, it looks like I got to pay 100. It's 100 to go to the private event on Saturday. But you can put any amount you want in here. So think about it. It's going to a good cause. You know Andrew's a good guy. And, let's see. Hold on a second. We got some comments here. Hold on one second. I got too much open right now. Let's go to the default. All right. So let's see. Spy Hunter. Can you put links in the description to donate? Yes. I'm going to put links in the chat now. It's yangangunited.com. And then I'll also add it into the description. And I might even do it now before I forget. So let's see here. We're doing it in real time because I drank a little bit of wine today. And, so no title. I'm going to make the title Andrew Yang Private Event Preview. And then in the description, more info at yangangunited.com. All right. So now, since you guys are here, let me recap. And then, since I'm here, since you're here, since people may watch this on replay, maybe should I go into some little recap of how old Andrew is doing in this mayoral race? I might do that. I might pull some data for you guys just because you're awesome. Before we go into that, let me just tell you again, event is this Saturday, January 30th, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. It'll be you'll be emailed a private Zoom link, and we'll have the guest list. If you give $100 or more, if you are feeling flush and you want to give $1,000, you get to ask Andrew anything directly in the live event. And then there's also like a green room kind of meet and greet with Andrew. And then even if you don't give 100, if you give less than 100, that's not the, you give what you can. And that goes towards the Nerds for Humanity goal of 15K total, which would then get him on this channel for a long form live interview. So that's yangangunited.com. Previously it was tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. So I think yangangunited.com is a better one, and props to the organizers who made that website happen. And we're just really excited about trying to help Andrew propel him to an office where he can make some big time impact. And again, Henry Kim is the co-organizer with me. He's doing most of the work, to be honest. I'm just kind of doing a little promotion like this, and then I'll be co-hosting the fireside chat with Andrew at that Zoom event. So Spy Hunter says, I'm ready to donate, but I want to make sure. I appreciate that, man. If you give at the YangGangUnited.com website, or you give at tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc, they all point to the same Act Blue page at the end of the day that has a little referral thing. But yeah, probably easiest, YangGangUnited.com. Just go check it out, Spy Hunter. And you give 100, you can go to the event. I'll see you there. And if you give less, that's fine. It goes towards our goal. And then we get Andrew on this show, and then everybody gets to see him. So it's a 2-for-1 special. All right. Since I'm here, I do want to go over some data, because how could we have a Nerds live stream without talking about some data? So let's see here. Let's look at search activity for Andrew. And I will share my screeny. Did that work? No. Let's try it again. Oh, now it worked. By the way, thank you, Nerds for Humanity members. I took some of your member donations and bought this sweet little device that lets me switch views and stuff a little quicker. That in theory produces a more polished live stream, but if you're watching this right now, you're like, really? Is that what you call polished? I feel you, bros. I feel you. All right. So let's take a look here at, this is the last 7 days web search activity for New Yorkers. And not just New York State, New York City residents in the city of New York, last 7 days. Who in the Sam Hill are they searching for? And the blue line is Andrew M.F. Yang. So as you can see, that guy is definitely leading the pack when it comes to who's getting searched for by New Yorkers on the interweb. Now, I will say that Maya Wiley is also showing up about half as many searches as Andrew Yang. And then that was on January 27th. On January, oh, this is by the hour. Wow, that's really recent. You've got Scott Stringer, Eric Adams, and Maya, basically. Looks like, wow, Maya's doing okay. Maya's this green line, which, you know, she didn't have as much search activity as Stringer and Adams before, but now she's coming on a little stronger. So kudos to Maya. Let's see, if we go in the past day, you've got Andrew definitely still in the lead, but you see 29, so about 1/5 of Andrew is Maya, and then even less is Stringer. And then Mcguire is not getting much search activity. So it looks like it's really a Yang, Maya, Adams kind of battle in terms of who's looking for information about these candidates. Let's see, breakdown within the city. Well, this is by city. It's probably not that interesting because this is outside New York City. Related queries for Yang. Andrew Yang height. Why would anyone care what his height is? I'm not sure why, but that's what they're searching for. Hold on a second. Let me lower this volume a little bit here. Okay. They're also searching for Trump. People who search for Andrew Yang also search for Trump, the NYC mayoral election, Etsy. I'm not sure why they're searching for Etsy. I must have missed what some big viral moment about Etsy. But and his height. Now, if people who are searching for Scott Stringer are also searching for Zach Eiskell and Sean Donovan. Oh, Spy Hunter, 100 bones donated, man. I will see you at the event, brother. Or sister. I'm not sure. I've never met Spy Hunter. But I know Spy Hunter, I think Spy Hunter might have been in the Nerdling stream. Maybe. But thank you, Spy Hunter. Okay. Now, people who search for Eric Adams search for Carlos Menchaca. But let's see. If we go actually the past 7 days, we'll get a little bit richer related search query data. Okay. Yeah, last 7 days, BDS, Andrew Yang BDS, Lucy Liu, and John Liu were the most related searches. Stringer had Diana Morales, Zach Eiskell, Andrew Yang. Those who search for Stringer also search for Yang. And Sean Donovan and Ray Mcguire. Eric Adams, if you search for Eric Adams, you are also likely to search for LeBron James, Malik Beasley Stats, Carlos Menchaca, Diana Morales, and Sean Donovan. And then if you search for Maya Wiley, you are also likely to search for Ray Mcguire, Sean Donovan, Carlos Menchaca, and Diana Morales. And if you're Ray Mcguire, you search for Ray Mcguire, Scott Stringer, and Raymond Mcguire net worth. So what's most interesting here? The Yang is of interest to the Stringer people, less so to the Adams and Wiley and Mcguire people. Pretty big overlap between Wiley and Mcguire. And then Eric Adams is LeBron James. I don't understand why they're searching for LeBron James, but that's what they do. All right, so that is a little bit of the search activity. You guys still with me? Are you hanging? Because I can share a little bit more data if you guys are up for it. But I know it's kind of late, so I want to be respectful of our East Coast homies. All right, we'll show a little bit more. You know, I always am down for showing a little bit more. Spy Hunter says, "Hey, I'm still here." Spy Hunter's like, I just gave $100 to your freaking event. You better not just wrap it up like that. All right, fair enough. Let's look at this, man. Let us look at the Twitters. Okay, Twitter followers. That isn't much of a competition at the moment. Let's see if I can push this over here for you fine nerds. Okay. The blue line is Andrew Yang, and the purple is Scott Stringer, and the red is Eric Adams. And as you can see, it's very hard to see the other lines. Cynthia's asking, hey, what is BDS? BDS is something about boycotting Israel. And Yang got into a little hot water because he was saying he was comparing BDS to, I think, like fascists or something. I think. And that was not down. Heisenberg, by the way, great name, is asking, what do I think of Chamath running for California governor? I need to do some research on Chamath. Don't know much about him, but I will say that Newsom is not like killing it as governor. So if there's some new blood, I'm down with it. Oh, Blake reminds me that it stands for boycott, divest, and sanction Israel, I think. All right. What do I think about Biden re-signing DACA like he promised? Well, I do remember him promising it. And, I am sympathetic to people who were brought into the country as children, even if it was illegally entering the country. It's not really their fault. On the other hand, I don't want to, you got to be careful about rewarding violation of immigration law. So that's a tough one. As obviously I'm an immigrant myself, so I'm sympathetic to it. But I also wonder, like, okay, how do we become, as Obama said, an immigration of laws and a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants, and both can be hopefully achieved. All right, now. So right now the Yangster, he's got 1.97 million followers. And then Stringer has 12,000, and then Eric Adams for New York has 2,900. So the Yangster is doing pretty good. Now, it's not just because he ran for president. This is the daily followers number. And you can see here, like, on January 22nd, the Yangster got 5,850 new followers, and Stringer got 75. Not 75,000, just 75. So if only the election were determined by Twitter or by search, then we'd be done by now, and we'd be talking about Mayor Yang. What the heck? Hold on. We'd be talking about Mayor Yang. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. It's a ranked choice voting election. However, I will tell you that in previous polls, we know that Yang has been number one for the most first choice votes and the most second choice votes. So he's definitely a front runner. A third, I think, are still undecided, though. So if they break for a Stringer or a Wiley or an Adams, then, all bets are off, right? Okay. Now, let's look at what do the gamblers think. You guys want to look at betting odds? Let's see if I can pull up some betting odds and see if the gamblers agree with us. Now, before I do that, I should thank the Nerds for Humanity members. For those of you who are joining from the David Pakman ad last week, that was paid for 100% by our Nerds for Humanity members, and they allow me to invest in equipment like the software that's doing this crazy animated green screen background, and this cool little control device that lets me change views and find websites a little faster. So let me just call out some of our most recent members and our largest member. I will start with Kristen Slevin. And let me just give you a quick view of my screen. So Kristen Slevin is our executive vice president. She is the most generous Nerds for Humanity member. Thank you, Kristen. I think that EVP slot is going to open up. I think Kristen's like, hey, I love you, but I'm gonna have to downgrade to a lower level because that EVP level is pretty generous. But thank you, Kristen, for the almost year of being an EVP, and you helped us advertise on Yang Speaks and then David Pakman and invest in some of this cool equipment. Who else has helped us? Our VPs. And who are those VPs? I will tell you. Crikey. Hold on. Who are those VPs? I will tell you. Golly. This is taking forever. Here we go. All right. I just want to make sure that you guys could see There we go. What in the Sam Hill's going on? All right. Andrew Yang for president saying, any Pac-Man interview on the horizon? I'll ask. I mean, obviously, we advertise on his channel. I don't think that obligates him to come on to the Nerd Show, but I would love to. So thank you for reminding me. I need to ask him. Okay, VPs. I'm going to sort this guy by total time as members. So our oldest VPs are VLAM, JM Sap, Fat Lamb, Soldier, Laura Lane, Joshua Frick, Patrick Dunn, Bike, and Mindful Skeptics. So thank you to our VPs. And at the hardcore level, we have Mike Chang, Gene Lim, David, Tracy Mesa, DK, Landline, Phoenix Congress, Jekalego, Kirsch Thiva, Mr. History Fan, Byram Hess, Susan Clifton, Yang Deng, Tony, Robert, Dean, Stat Nerd, Galessa, and Jalacia. So, there's more. And Jay Perrin and J. Brian Anderson. Mr. Anderson. All right. And then at the verified level, we have Helen, Lisa, Sugar, Albert, Brandon, Yes, Brian, Peter, Arez, Your Mammon, Sophia, Jadwiga, Gail, Shake and Make, Mike, Doris, Emerald, Nell, Lori, Ben, Roger, Lisa, Christina, Vaughn, Rasta, Ryan, Jessica, James, Jalopy, Emma, Joel, Spirited, Hui, Steven, Ira, Shoni, Spy. Spy's actually right here. I think he's in the audience at the moment. Philip, Jameson, Ender the Third, Dr. A, William, Karen, Annalisa, Monica, Alex, Ardent, Mai, and Samari. And I'll give a quick shout out to our youngest nerds who just joined quite recently. Samari, only 4 days old. J. Brian Anderson in the last 7 days. Ardent, Mai, also in the last 7 days. Alex and Annalisa fairly recently as well. Let me give you guys a welcome cowbell. All right. Thank you. Okay, now let's look at betting odds as promised. Okay, where are those betting odds? I believe they're here. Ooh, I think the odds have tightened up a little bit. I'm not sure, but I seem to, well, maybe not. Andrew's still number one. Andrew Yang is number one. Grappling Ignorance is saying, hey, man, it kills the stream to give the shout out to your supporters. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I will say, if we put it at the end, I feel like our donors don't get enough credit. But it's a fair point. And so, but think of it this way: if you're not a donor, then like giving a little bit of time to the donors so that they can get some recognition, and it helps support a channel that you're watching. Everybody kind of pitches in. That's one way to look at it. But let me know in the comments if you feel really strongly about the donor shout outs in the middle of the stream. I would consider it doing at the end. And then if you're a donor, let me know if that would really kind of bum you out if you got shouted out at the end versus in the middle. Anyway, okay. So let's see. Andrew Yang is 38 cents. So that has, quote unquote, the worst deal in terms of what you would get back. You'd pay 38 cents, and if he wins, you'd get $1. Whereas if you pay Eric Adams, if you buy Eric Adams for 22 cents, you get 5 times your money. Same with Stringer. And then Raymond Mcguire, you almost get 8 times your money. And Maya will be 10 times your money. So the gamblers are not really giving a lot of credit to the other competitors, but they're not saying that Andrew is more than a 50% chance. So something to keep an eye on. And then next, let's see if we can look at what is Andrew tweeting about. What's he talking about these days? Okay, so let's move this guy, Odiani, over here. All right. So everywhere I go, there's a whole lot of love. Oh, is that a new Andrew thing? Is he doing the heart? Is that the new kind of Amazon claw? He says, holy cow, Brooklyn Nets for a jersey. Oh, they gave him a Yang jersey. Wow. I wonder if that's because he's always talking smack about the Knicks. Not sure, but there you go. Twitter wants me to follow a bunch of people. Some of the shopkeepers on the Lower East Side making it happen. Okay. Our campaign is fueled by grassroots donors like you. Every dollar received, spent is getting our message out to tens of thousands of New Yorkers. We need your help today. Okay, yes. If you want to donate, though, go to yangangunited.com. Don't go to Yang's regular site because then the nerds don't get any credit, and then you won't get an invitation to go to Saturday's private event with Andrew if you give $100. But you should give to Andrew. Just give it through the official Nerds event site, which is yangangunited.com or tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. Let's see. Yang Gang has shown up at the Central Park Snowy Owl Party. Andrew saying it's great to be out and about again. I think he had to quarantine when one of his staff caught the COVID. Sign up to volunteer for Gigi Lee's campaign. By the way, I wanted to, while I'm here, I'll give you an update. We have ofthepeople.us is now kind of in a early proof of concept. And it's not just a landing page anymore. Of course, we still have the landing page. But you can then browse some local candidates. That's a test account there. I'm not running for anything. I am doing some volunteer work for my county. But you have Yenny, Ryan, and Adriana as our first local candidates. But if you know any local candidates running for office, tell them to go to ofthepeople.us, and that will allow them to set up a free profile. And then the idea is that people all across the country who are interested in supporting local candidates, maybe helping them out earlier in their political career because they know that, most national candidates start at the local level. So if you want to help out, go check out ofthepeople.us. And if you are a local candidate, create a profile. It's free. And then we might be able to send you some traffic. We're probably going to be advertising and promoting Of the People, the website and the directory of local candidates in the next few weeks. So it's free exposure if you know someone running. And and then we'll be adding some new features where it's going to make it a little easier to basically search and filter candidates based on their policies, maybe down the road geography, alma mater, whatever, are they supportive of this UBI, or are they, Medicare for all, whatever, Second Amendment, whatever is of your area of passion. You can then find the local candidates that align with your values and your interests, and then you can donate to them, you can volunteer for them, you can learn more about them. And the idea is these local candidates, sometimes they win their races by a few hundred votes. So, and for them Like $1,000 is their total raise for their campaign, and it can make a big difference. So check that out. Now let's get back to Andrew's Twitter stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. So maybe Gigi Lee, you should set up a profile on Of the People. Andrew Yang in Chinatown with Margaret Chin and Gigi Lee. I used to go to Chinatown all the time when I lived in New Jersey, and we would basically go there for the real Chinese food. Although I was not as adventurous as my parents in terms of what they would order. Yang says, I support the updated rules for street vendors that are going to be proposed in City Council tomorrow. This is Yang endorsing Gigi. Visited folks at 12 Pell. Looks like a barber shop. A picture of Andrew back in the day. So he basically spent a bunch of time in Chinatown. I'm guessing he's trying to activate the Chinese American vote, which historically has not really turned out for local elections. I mean, most New Yorkers of any background don't vote in local elections, but I think the Asian Americans in particular have been pretty uninvolved and disengaged. So I think Andrew's trying to activate. Then he talked about the Holocaust Remembrance Day. Dan Tat. I don't know if you guys know about Dan Tat. It is a very common dessert in a lot of Chinese restaurants, Hong Kong restaurants. The reality, and I only learned this about a year or two ago when I lived in Europe, is that is not a Chinese dessert. Sorry, Chinese Americans and Chinese out there who love Dan Tat. That shit is not Chinese. That is stolen from the Portuguese. Is it? Yeah, from the Portuguese. Basically, when they colonized Macau, they brought that dessert over. Yeah, it's basically a custard, and then the Portuguese style, they actually bake it so hot that it's like a little bit caramelized and a little burnt on top. And then the pastry is much more kind of like layered. But I don't know why we just turned this into a food live stream. Okay, sorry about that. But I just wanted to keep it real. And I know my mom was shocked when I told her that, hey, Dan Tat doesn't come from China, dude. That shit was stolen from the Portuguese. She told me it was fake news, but that's just the reality. Heading downtown. Donate to Yang, but don't donate through his thing. Donate through the Nerds link. YangGangUnited.com, tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. Congrats to Zach. I'm not sure what's official. Maybe he's running for office. Yang Gang on racial disparities in NYC. You guys want to listen to a little bit? Let's listen to a little bit. Hold on.
Today, we are unveiling a plan to help reduce and hopefully end racial health disparities here in New York City. And if you look at the numbers, I'm a numbers guy, they are heartbreaking. You have life expectancies a full decade shorter in Brownsville versus parts of Manhattan. You have black mothers dying at 8 times the rate of white mothers during childbirth. So under my administration, we're going to amend the city charter to include ending racial health disparities as the primary mandates of the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. We're going to require racial equity competency as part of the training at all H&H hospitals. We're going to have measurements so that we see how we're faring. I want to try and address the heartbreaking rates of maternal mortality among black moms by expanding New York State's doula pilot program. I think that women who are giving birth with doulas will have their concerns better represented to the medical professionals. Today.
So there's Andrew talking about racial disparities in health and promoting the use of doulas instead of the traditional hospital birth and traditional OBGYN delivery. Then he's talking about the NYPD shooting of the policeman. He's talking about COVID. I'm guessing several people I know died this past year. I know I'm not the only one. And then he's basically rolled out the racial inequities in healthcare. Let's go into the details, nerds. Let's see if Andrew's going to give us some details. All right, so amend the New York City Charter, making ending racial disparities the mandate of the, I'm guessing that's Department of Health and MH. What is that? Mental hygiene. Okay. Ensure that ending racialism is among the primary mandates of the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Build a diverse, culturally competent public health workforce. Ensure fair staffing ratios. Expand access to healthcare at trusted providers. Require racial equity competency for all healthcare providers. Expand neighborhood action centers. Oh, I see you guys. Oh, that's all cut off there. Let me make it a little smaller. There you go. Now you can see more of the title. Okay. Focus on improving Black maternal mortality and morbidity by expanding doula care. Expand NYC care. This is uninsured New Yorkers to visit one of H&H's hospitals or clinics to see a primary care physician. Treat gun violence like the public health crisis it is. That is definitely not a national campaign. If you guys catch my drift, this is very bold for a national campaign, maybe quite acceptable for a New York City campaign. And yeah, that is it. That is the big policy rollout for racial equity in healthcare delivery. I would say the biggest one is probably expansion of New York Cares, and then, or NYC Care, and then, we got a super chat from John. Thank you, my brother. John Pearson, your UBI has arrived. Well, sir, you will be happy to know that all of that money does not go to my pocket. It goes to growing this channel. It goes to investing in this fancy software that clearly I'm still getting used to. And also promoting the channel on other channels so that we can get more subs, and more subs means bigger guests and getting Andrew on more often. So thank you for that support, John. Really appreciate it. Let me give you a bell. All right. I think, did I cover? Oh, let's look at news coverage of Andrew. Let's look at news coverage. Oh, see that? I just pushed a button on this fancy thing that the Nerds for Humanity members made possible. Okay, what are the news coverage? Annalisa's like, hey, don't forget the YouTube tape. They do. They get a cut. I think my recollection is they get like 30%. So, they don't take everything, but yeah, they definitely get their piece of that action. All right, so let's go back. All right, here we go. Okay, nope. Yeah, clearly I'm screwing up these buttons. Here we go. All right, so Andrew Yang wants to make NYC cops live in NYC. but he can't, according to New York Post. So he's advocating, probably as part of that racial disparity stuff, saying, hey, people who are policing the city should be part of the community. And the New York Post is probably, I don't know, we don't have time to read the whole article, but they're probably saying that, legally people can live where they want. Did candidates flee to vacation homes? 5 highlights from the mayor's race. So we know that Andrew got a lot of beef for going to upstate New York with his 2 kids and wife. And let's see. It looks like, we see here Yang pitches a casino on Governor's Island. Probably looking to raise some mun. And maybe take that casino mun and turn it into UBI, which probably would not be terrible. And then attract some tourists as well. That's Governor's Island. Not exactly the Bellagio. But I'm guessing if they put a casino there, they probably have some money to make it look very nice. 3 weeks in the Hamptons. Okay, so this is Scott Stringer saying, when Yang said, we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, can you imagine having 2 kids in virtual school and then trying to work yourself? And Scott Stringer's like, yes, actually I can, because you're not a real New Yorker. You fled to New York, upstate New York. One candidate who did not throw any shade at Yang was Raymond Mcguire, a Wall Street executive who owns a second home in the Hamptons. Speculation arose that Mcguire's campaign was silent because he spent a bunch of time outside the city as well. Mcguire's campaign said that he spent the first 3 months of the pandemic in Manhattan and then 3 weeks in the Hamptons. Which is a quite nice area. But, I'm not going to give Mcguire crap because, look, if I had a house in the Hamptons as well, dude, I'd be there more than 3 weeks probably. Like, come on now. I don't know who Mcguire is, but you gotta cut him some slack. That's Mcguire. And let's see. Eric Adams said he did not spend 24 hours outside of New York City during the period. So basically it's like who stayed in the city during the depths of the pandemic. I don't know, man. I don't know if that is necessarily a qualification for being mayor. I would say being mayor means that or any leader means that you make good decisions. And if Yang had an opportunity to take his 2 boys who are in virtual school and wife and himself into a house in upstate New York while he's an analyst for CNN, I mean, dude, I'm doing a live stream now in a house. If I had a 2-bedroom apartment and I have 2 boys, I might... I wouldn't zip tie those boys, but I would definitely send them either outside or be tempted to give them the iPad and be like, dude, go play some Brawl Stars and leave me alone. But you can't do that with Andrew's got younger boys. You can't just put them on Brawl Stars and Clash of the Clans for hours. Not that I would know anything about that. Carlos Menchaca said he spent 14 days out the side of the city, mostly hiking and meditating, but still working remotely. All right. This is kind of like a non-story in my opinion. I'm going to move on. Who cares if they freaking left the city during the pandemic? I mean, what? I mean, in the middle of a pandemic when all the hospitals are full, like, if you can kind of take refuge in a larger house and be away from other people and be safer, like, why wouldn't you do that? Nick slowly winning Andrew over despite James Dolan feud. Rivals mock Andrew Yang. 5 takeaways. All right, I think we've seen these. I'm surprised there isn't any news stories. Hold on, let me refresh this bad boy. Okay, yeah, Let's see. What is the story about him not being able to require cops living in New York? Let's just take a little quick look at that together. Gracie Mansion hopeful Andrew Yang stepped into Hornet's Nest by saying he backs requiring newly hired police officers to live in New York City, a proposed change that would run afoul of state law, which has infuriated police unions. So police unions are not down with the Yang plan to require policemen to live in the city that they police. The caller is correct that new officers should be required to live in New York City, hopefully in neighborhoods that they're actually policing, because talk about being able to understand the community better. You should be of the community, certainly when you start in the force, and that, I believe, would fundamentally change the dynamic, because instead of seeing folks as strangers or perpetrators, you see them as neighbors. Yeah, kind of makes sense. However, I guess the New York Post is reminding us that the police residency exemption has been enshrined in Section 3 of the State Public Officers Law. It includes carve-outs for officers who live in counties within 30 miles of the Big Apple. So if you live within 30 miles of the Big Apple, you're okay. You don't have to be in the Big Apple. So that's that. All right. So I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover. So for tonight, again, as a reminder, this Saturday, January 30th, we're going to have a big event with Andrew himself. If you donate at yangangunited.com, $100, you'll be able to attend the event. And if we raise $15K total or more, we'll be able to get Andrew onto the show. Oh, what happened here? I'm trying to figure it out. Donated through Super Chat. Thank you. I'm trying to figure it out. I hope you figure it out, bro. Wall Street Bets. Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of Yang Gangers talking about investing in the stock market. I know this is not super sexy, but let me make you give a suggestion for those of you who are interested in investing. It is not sexy, but statistically has proven to be very effective. If you wait for it, buy index funds and hold for a long time. And if you project this out 5-10 years, you'll probably do better than buying any specific stock. Now, and I know someone out there is going to be like, no, look at this chart. AMC blew up and I made all this money. Yes, you can absolutely find plenty of examples where one stock blows the market away. The problem is, can you consistently pick those stocks? And do you sell them in time to actually capture the gains? Or is it by the time you sell it, it's kind of deflated? So that's just my efficient markets kind of investing advice. I'm a little old-fashioned that way. But, if you want to pick individual stocks, nobody's going to stop you. But please do it with money that you are okay losing. But if it's really for your retirement and stuff, I would go with the index fund, dollar cost averaging, buy and hold. The most boring investment advice you're going to hear today, but it works. All right. With that, I'm going to say, why don't we do this? Before we wrap up, let's do Ask Me Anything. I didn't ask me anything on Twitter. I'll review some, and then if you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and put them in the chat. But let me show you the AMA I just did on the Twitters. Boom. That never works, man. I push the button and it goes to the wrong tab. Hold on. Oh, no wonder. Now let's try. Yay! It works. You gotta love it when it works. All right. So, okay. I said, hey, I'm on the couch listening to Coldplay because I drank a little bit of wine and got tired. And so I pulled out my phone. I said, ask me anything. And Michael Lee says, what do you think Biden can do to get 80% approval rating in the polls within his first 100 days? Oh, I didn't answer this one, but I'll do it right here. Fix vaccination rate and give everyone stimulus moolah. That's it. That's all he needs to do. Not a lot. I mean, the bar is not that high. Like, by the way, speaking of the bar not being high, I put this, my brother, my MAGA brother, was complaining to me about, Joe Biden's running such a huge deficit. This is ridiculous. This is not how a leader leads. He's so irresponsible. He's radical left socialist. So then I was like, bro, here's a chart. Because, you want to DM me, MAGA brother? I'm going to give you some data. And this is the national debt, okay? This is the national debt over time from 2009 to 2020. And as you can see, yes, the national debt did grow under Obama. But you got to remember, bro was fighting a global almost depression. GM was about to go bankrupt. All of the banks were melting down. So, and he spent it on a stimulus that went towards middle class folks generally. Now at this point in the chart right here, which is around 2016, Donald Trump as a candidate says that he's going to pay down entirely the national debt in 8 years. Then he signs his famous Tax Cut Act and proceeds to add, but by the time he leaves, $8 trillion in debt. And even before COVID, looks like he boosted the national debt from $20 trillion under Obama to looks like maybe $25 trillion. And now, after doing nothing to mitigate the pandemic, kind of resulted in an extended version of the pandemic here with over 400,000 deaths. And in addition to that, you see reaching a $28 trillion national debt. So this is the so-called conservative Republican. All right. So, we got a question from Annalisa. What is your take on the recent attack on the hedge fund peoples in regard to recent? I got to read up on this. I haven't looked into it, so I can't comment on that. What the hell? We're here. Let's just go look it up together and you'll get a real-time reaction. So I guess I should Google hedge fund GameStop. Let's see. News. GameStop jumps more than 130% as hedge funds cover short bets. Latest moves comes as some of the high-profile short sellers of GameStop announced that they covered most of their positions. Stock appeared to get a boost after Musk tweeted out a link to a Reddit board where much of the discussion is taking place. GameStop's rapid rise has drawn comparisons to speculative trading and tech bubbles. Okay, so basically there are some hedge funds who are shorting a stock And then Musk, who is famous for hating shorters, said, hey, let's boost up this stock and make these people lose a bunch of money. And as a reminder, the way that works is when you short a stock, you sell someone the GameStop stock, or whatever the company's called. What was it called? GameStop. Yeah. You sell one person the GameStop stock today for today's price, but you don't really have it. So then you wait in the future, and then you buy the stock, and you hope that you're buying it at a lower price. So the person bought it from you at today's price, and then you buy it back at a lower price, which is a great strategy if the stock price goes down. Now, if the stock price goes up, you could get screwed, which is what Elon did to these hedge funds. So, Annalisa, to answer your question, my take is that, honestly, I'm not a big fan of that activity. And the reason is you're going to get a bunch of people buying GameStop stock when the underlying stock may not be that valuable, and you're only doing it to stick it to the hedge funds. Hopefully the people that participated will be able to get out in time and, either make a little money or whatever. But, that's my take. Now, let me go back to the Twitter questions that we had. Oh, no, did I? I think I lost that Twitters. All right, here we go. Do that. Boom. Okay. Ooh, this is too many things here. Here we go. All right, so back to the AMAs. Then someone asked me, how many AMC stocks have you bought? And I was like, none. What's your favorite pizza toppings? I said prosciutto, fungi. And then what's your favorite place to live out of all places you lived in? I love San Francisco. I just moved here this summer, but I love it. And then Zurich was beautiful. Seattle's a great town. Singapore, amazing food. Boston, amazing universities. Hong Kong, high energy. New Jersey, great place to grow up. But those are places I lived in. The order I liked them. Liked them all. Then, what is your favorite Coldplay song? Viva La Vida. What do you do for a living? Oh, Ming is asking. I will answer you right here, buddy. I work in product management in the technology sector. So that's what I do during the daytime when I'm not streaming. Then there was this guy asking me about some new form of inclusive democracy. I'm not familiar with it, so I didn't really want to comment. And then someone was asking about a new feature on Of the People, and I said, yeah, actually, we've been thinking about that feature. So, again, if you know someone running for a local office, tell them to set up a profile on ofthepeople.us, because ofthepeople.us has gotten Patreon support, and I'm going to take all of that money and apply it to promoting Of the People. So if your friend is running for office and they create a profile, they're going to get exposure that way. Do you think COVID is here to stay or will eventually disappear? And I said, I think pandemics will be increasingly common as long as the climate keeps changing, causing animal migration, and we keep destroying natural habitats of animals that used to never mix with humans. So I think we brought this upon ourselves. And I know the Trump sort of radical MAGA environmental plan is drill, baby, drill. But I don't think killing the planet is really sustainable. But that's just my opinion. Will people protest instead of getting their 2K checks. No, I don't think so. If they bailed out a hedge fund. Well, they're not going to bail out a hedge fund. That's for sure. Those hedge funds they took a licking, but I don't think anybody's going to bail them out, and I don't think anybody's going to protest. If you had to pitch a UBI program to New Yorkers in a way that would best get passed, how would you do it? I said, New York needs the ultimate stimulus. Every resident will now get a dividend based on a new property tax. And I basically collect that new property tax and divide it by the number of New York residents over 18 that are citizens. And then everybody get a check. So it'd truly be a dividend, not a basic income. How often do people assume you speak any kind of fluent Chinese? It used to be very often, but now I think they can tell that my Chinese sucks. I know a little bit, but my German might be pretty much better than my Chinese right now. All right. What's your wife's MBTI? I thought it was going to be ENFP, but she just took the test. It's ENFJ. And I am INTJ, so just a bunch of judgmental people. She's more outgoing and intuitive and feeling, and I'm more introverted, intuitive, analytical or something. Are you buying stocks tomorrow? That was kind of a nerdy answer. I said yes, because I believe in dollar cost averaging. Do I like the stock? Yes. Hey, someone heard my ad. Yay. That ad, by the way, is from anybody who's clicking the join button. You can do it right now if you want. That supports those kinds of activities. None of the money goes to my personal spending. It all goes to the Nerds channel. Waffles, pancakes, or crepes, and I said New York City style bagels lightly toasted with cream cheese. Okay. Let's see. Now let's see if there's any questions from this group in the live chat before we wrap it up. Let's see. Hold on one second. Can I make this window a little bigger? See if I can find any questionos. Let's see. I'll start here. I'm not sure where we started the questions. You guys have been chatting a lot with each other, which is great. My goodness, you guys are this chat is pretty active. Kudos to you guys. I'm just gonna highlight some people. Brent Fitzgerald, hello nerds. Okay. First, we have to get out of COVID. Your thoughts? Vaccine is the answer? Yep. I think vaccine is probably our best bet. And yeah, I mean, I think the mitigation stuff is just sort of like how you keep it going while you're waiting for the vaccine. But if you really want to solve it, I think getting herd immunity is the best way, and doing that through a vaccination is the way that doesn't result in millions of people dying. Let's see. Eddie's saying there's no future in lockdowns. Well, I mean, if there's another pandemic and you're getting hospitals overrun and you don't have a vaccine, you have to be okay with millions of people dying. I don't know if people are down with that. I mean, we had 400,000 people dying. If we didn't do any of the mitigations, we probably would have had millions die. I don't know. Let's see. Andrew's saying he's super late. It's all good. You can see this on replay too. Let's see here. Will you folks not look into ivermectin? Well, maybe I'll Google it later. Don't know what it is. Where do you want a vacation when COVID is finally over? I'm thinking Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii. Or Mexico. Wife wants to visit her family in Singapore. It's a long flight. Might be cool to go back to Europe. You know, I've always enjoyed my time in Europe. Ooh, do you think Yang will pick AOC as VP? I don't think so. I don't think so. Especially since AOC is so kind of skeptical of basic income. I don't know. I don't know if they make a good ticket. I would rather see a Buttigieg Yang ticket. But right now, I'd like to see Mayor Yang help save New York. And then we can worry about bigger offices later. Let's see. The Trump supporters think the vaccine is the mark of the devil. Yeah, you know, those Trump supporters, they were thinking some storm would arrive on Inauguration Day and, like, Donald Trump would return to the stage and, like, drag off Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi and zip ties or whatever. Okay. Let's see what the next question is. All right, I may have gotten through. San Francisco is a sausage fest, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know if that's true, Earl. Let me see here. San Francisco. I mean, we can just look up the data. Male to female ratio. It's 104 males to 100 females. You know, I don't know if I would call that a, what's this? I don't know if I'd call that a sausage fest. I think there's plenty of great people here. So if I were single, I would definitely consider San Fran. Seriously. And the weather. Think about how much nicer your dates would be. At any rate. Yeah, Andrew's saying, I love how... Well, I mean, I still can't get over the fact that he didn't attend the inauguration. Like, that hasn't happened in over 100 years. Like, that's like losing the Super Bowl and not shaking hands with the other team. It's like, come on, man. All right. Earl's saying he's also INTJ. Right on, brother. Well, then you know, 104 to 100 is not a sausage fest. Annalisa, I'm actually subbed to David Pakman because of you. Well, then David Pakman owes me some money. Maybe at a minimum, David Pakman should come on the Nerd Show. I'll have to ask him. I mean, I don't talk to him, but I'll ask his team. Any bets on Mayor Yang? Well, the gamblers think it's roughly like a 40% chance. I would personally give him like a 55% chance. I think it's actually, I had previously predicted that he would not be winning the mayorship, but now looking at these polls, and then combined with the Twitter data and the search data and seeing how he's handled this negative press, I'm feeling pretty bullish on Andrew for mayor. So I think if anything, it will be more a question of, can he get it done? You know, can he really make improvements to the city? I mean, that city's in a lot of trouble, and it's not like he's inheriting some booming economy, right? I mean, he's basically inheriting the Trump economy, and you know, that's gonna be hard. So hopefully he wins, but also hopefully he can pull it off, and it's a savable city. I think it is a savable city. I don't know if he can do it in 4 years, but we'll see. All right, so last thing, I just want to remind you guys, go to yangangunited.com, donate $100, come visit, me, Andrew, and a bunch of other people who are all putting in a lot of work, including Henry Kim, the co-organizer. Thank you, Henry. And let me just do this. Hold on. Show you guys. You've got Henry Kim, we're the organizers. You have our MC, Kunal Sood, and then you've got a bunch of co-hosts, James, Victor, Soyun, Kevin, Tom, Jeffrey, Michael, and Will, all making this event possible so that we can have a good time with Andrew. You can get some exclusive access, and then if we raise 15K, we're going to get Andrew on this show. We're going to say, hello, nerds. You know how he does it? You remember? You guys remember? Yeah, that guy. That guy. He's going to come back. All right, man. I will see you guys later. Goodbye, nerds. I'm going to use my fancy new control thing here, and I'm going to click end. See if this works here. I'm going to click end.